Hey folks, this is another trade recap from last week. This is a trade that long I took on the US dollar Canadian dollar pair, a 1 hour chart, with this sort of iffy trend line here that could have been drawn in 9 different ways. This is about, it was right in here. Uh, Basically, I bought this and wrote it up to this level, sold, and I think I actually bought again in here, expecting it to go higher. And I'm holding over the weekend now, but this is just another example of, we've got kind of this uptrend going, and then we've got this more of a corrective looking, it's not quite as strong, downward channel. So this, in my mind, this really kind of looked more like a flag, and that this was an actual move up, and that I was expecting a continuation from there. One thing I like to see, that's also noticeable is there's 3 pushes down on here. So you've got a really strong push down that failed, and another one that pushed down that failed, and then a third one, and that failed. And at that point, generally speaking, if you see the market try to go in the same direction 3 times and not get anywhere, it ends up going the other direction. And that's a nothing is certain, but it's a pretty decent rule of thumb to follow. So when you look at sort of a correction like this and you see 3 attempts for this correction to actually turn into a downtrend and they all fail, that's usually when you want to start looking for a continuation move like I did here. So yeah, this wasn't a bad trade. I don't have it on here. I'm gonna have to start showing you guys where I enter and exit to show you just how terrible I am at timing things. But yeah, it wasn't a bad trade. And then, like I said, I'm actually in long, which is good. As you can see, this is a pretty solid move. There's a chance this could just turn into a range, and if that does, I may just get out of break even or something because I got in down here. But we'll see what happens. But the actual trade from last week, like I said, was about in here somewhere. Expecting it to break up, and it did. And you can see this is an iffy trend line here, but you can see it did break above this level here, above this level where the horizontal line is on the cursor, went up higher, came back down, retested, and then said, nope, I'm going higher again. And that should have been for pretty much anybody that, that's the sort of thing you're looking for. You say, hey, this is I would like to call it it's a breakout retest, but it's also a failed breakout, right? Because essentially every breakout tries to fail. Not always, but there's that chance where they're trying to push the price higher, and then somebody says, no, we're all going to short against it. And when that effort fails, and the effort to actually fail a breakout fails itself, that's when the breakout continues higher, and you can see that that's what it did here. So we'll see how this opens today. I hope I'm not the victim of some horrific tweet or something, and that it doesn't gap down here. Fortunately, the position is it is a real money position, but it's fairly small. I have my real money account is pretty small, and my my adage here is I really don't believe that it's worth trading large until you get good enough to take a small account and turn it into a big account. So if you can't take a small account and turn it into a big one, you have no business playing with a big account, because this is a very difficult thing to do. It is a lot harder than it looks on a chart. Everybody can open a chart when they're a beginner trader and look at it and go back to the day before and say, here, it looks like I could have bought this and sold here, and wow, it's so easy. It's got to be so easy to make money. It is not easy. This thing will have you spinning your head around in circles, and it just takes a long time to get settled on a strategy. It takes a long time to sort of figure out what works for you and to try to optimize it. And it takes a long time to be patient enough to wait for just the right conditions to enter and the right conditions to exit. All right, that's it for today. Thanks.